UFC Fight Night, Belal Muhammad versus Gabriel Bonfim just happened, and I'm going to go through the entire card from the bottom all the way to top, recap my predictions, and break down each fight of the night. This was a decent Apex card overall. Not anything insane, but it was a decent night of fights to hold us over for the week. So, better than no fights, 100%, because there were some pretty entertaining matches in this, and nothing really too disappointing. We started the night off with Ketlin Souza versus Ariane Carnelossi. Ketlin Souza, great knockout in this fight. She hurts Ariane and then head kicks her as she's standing back up. Puts her out with that head kick pretty much. Lands a couple shots as follow up, but finished the fight with the head kick. It was a great performance by her. And she looked good out there. Caused some damage. Did kind of exactly what I expected her to do. Just go out, be more aggressive, land harder on the feet, and put out Carnelossi. Great job. They both finished each other with kicks now. Because Carnelossi had done it a couple years prior, but Ketlin Souza, this time, they proved that running it back, she was the better fighter. And yeah, finishes Carnelossi. Then we move up to Jalissa Chavez versus Eunice Duban. This one, it was a close fight, closer than I kind of expected it to be, but also Duban was tough and she was game, but she just wasn't. She was a few steps behind in most of the moments, where she would fall victim to being taken down or not be able to land as hard of a shot or wouldn't take a shot as well. She would get controlled by like back mount or not back mount, like her back would be taken in key moments of the fight that would swing the round to Jalissa Chavez. And that's pretty much what this fight was. There wasn't really much to say about this fight. It went just like a typical women's MMA fight, where they didn't land too many hard shots on each other. They landed through a lot, but didn't land too many hard shots. Jalissa Chavez wins this fight via having submission attempts and threatening the submission in moments and controlling the back in others. And yeah, she gets the win over Eunice Duban. Not really much for me to talk about. Not too interesting of a fight. Then we move up to the featherweight bout of Jordan Levitt versus Joe Anderson Brito. This went kind of a little bit how I was expecting. I was expecting it actually to go a little bit longer, where Brito was just able to cause more damage because Jordan Levitt wouldn't really have anything for him on the feet. And Brito, every time he threw something at Levitt just didn't really like it. He would go in for a takedown. Didn't want to be on the feet with Brito, and he started telegraphing how he was going to shoot in and what he was trying to do a little too much. Brito got his arms in the right place, ninja choked him, had it tight, and made Levitt tap. Just very good job by Brito. He anticipated when Levitt was going to come in, got his arms down to the right spot, and he saw an opportunity. He took it. Very good job. And yeah, just Joe Anderson Brito made Jordan Levitt a little bit too worried on the feet, and then Levitt just kept shooting in way too predictably, and Brito capitalized on it. Great job by Joe Anderson Brito to cinch up that choke and beat Jordan Levitt. Then we move up to Priscilla Cachoeira versus Chelsea Chandler. This one, yeah, Cachoeira hurt Chandler on the feet a couple times, like I was expecting, but she just wasn't able to get to the finish. Chandler then hurts her and gets down on her and submits her, makes her tap. It was expected. Not. I went with the riskier one of Cachoeira in this fight just because I figured that once she could hurt her, she would be able to maybe go for the finish and get it, but she wasn't able to finish the fight when she did hurt Chandler a little bit. But Chandler did a good job at hurting Cachoeira a little bit and getting her into a vulnerable position where she could submit her. And yeah, good job by Chelsea Chandler. Stuck through it and got a good finish. So good first round finish as well. So good job to Chelsea Chandler and Priscilla Cachoeira. It might be time where they cut her, but we'll have to wait and see. Then we move up to Bruno Silva versus Edgar Chairez. I was worried about this fight. I was worried that Bruno Silva was going to be a little bit too tricky, a little bit too bouncy out on the edge for this fight, and I was worried that he wasn't going to really get hit too much by Edgar Chairez, but Edgar is a long, tall, lanky dude who, for flyweight, I mean, he's not in general very tall, but for flyweight he is. Um, and he's got strong hands. He's got good boxing, and he was just timing on Bruno Silva way better. Bruno was getting hit with the jab a little bit. Bruno would land a good shot here or there. But Edgar was just landing clean, immediately like reddening the nose and the like cheeks of Bruno Silva with just peppering the jab on him. And then he landed like a 1-2 that dropped Bruno really good, landed a left hook that dropped him, was just looking really good out there. Edgar Chairez was just, he was staying clean with it, he was staying disciplined, and just dropping Bruno Silva, causing damage. His power was way noticeably better than Bruno Silva's, and yeah, sets down Bruno Silva, goes in for the finish, then eventually gets it to the back, rear naked choke, and submits Bruno Silva via rear naked choke. Just a great performance. He got a performance of the night bonus, and he deserved it. He was an underdog coming into this fight, not a huge underdog. It was a close betting line anyway, but he was an underdog nonetheless. Came out in the first round, dropped and sat down Bruno Silva like twice, and then rear naked choked him. Just great job by Edgar Chairez, and very impressive performance. Always excited to see what he does when he fights, because he does have fun boxing. And he is a hard, powerful striker at flyweight. So excited to see what he does next, because now I believe he will be in the rankings after that fight, because I believe Bruno Silva was either just outside or at like 14, 15. So now Edgar Chairez going to be able to get into the rankings and look even higher up. And he does have history with Joshua Van, that was a very good, fun fight on the Sphere card. That Chairez did lose, but also did almost knock out Joshua Van. So, yeah, if he can somehow climb to the top of the division, that would be an interesting rematch eventually. I don't know if he ever will climb to the top, but he has some fun possibilities, is what I'm trying to say, at the top of the division. Then we have Marcus McGee versus John Yanis. One of the most confusingly match-made fighters ever. Marcus McGee, when he was like 10th in the world, got shot up against Petr Yan. Then, when he's like semi-unranked, they give him John Yanis. Back-to-back fights. Kind of crazy. He looks good out there. Didn't put a button on it like we were kind of expecting him to, but he stayed clean. He outstruck John Yanis most of this fight. Clearly won this fight, but John Yanis did prove that he is able to land pretty decent in fights too. It just, as the fight went on, Marcus McGee got a little bit more comfortable, a little bit looser, was landing a little bit better. The third round he looked pretty good in. Yanis just, he had the chances, he just wasn't able to, he wasn't as fast, he wasn't as technical. He just had the physical ability to cause damage, and he would hit McGee with some good shots. It was just that Marcus was taking the shots way better and dishing them out. And yeah, clearly, decisively beat John Yanis in this fight. Simple as that. Marcus McGee looked good out there. John Yanis looked better than we expected, but I kind of think I was giving him more credit than a lot of people were. And then Marcus McGee, I didn't expect him to finish it. I could have seen him doing it, but I did kind of expect a better third-round decision performance, which he kind of did give. So good job to Marcus McGee. Clearly wins against John Yanis like he's supposed to. Could have made it more decisive, though, with a knockout, especially when you're a minus 450 favorite. But yeah, good job, Marcus McGee, and maybe they'll give him a shot back into the rankings after that. I don't know with how they're currently matchmaking him, what they're going to try and do, but yeah. Then we have Matt Schnell versus Alessandro Costa. Yeah, Matt Schnell gets knocked out again. This one was a little bit weird. Costa going in, clips Matt Schnell. Matt Schnell then kind of falls forward, face plants a little bit. Costa then jumps on him, tries to finish him. Matt Schnell is kind of sprawling with him. And Costa is just landing shots to the side of the head. Landed 13 unanswered shots to the side of the head of Matt Schnell, where Matt Schnell is really not moving. out of the way of it. Herb Dean then separates the two of them. Matt Schnell then continues to wrestle through it, and then complains that he wasn't really hurt. But he didn't eat 13 unanswered strikes where he didn't really force any movement in the position. He didn't try and transition. He didn't try and block his head even more. He just kind of turned just a little bit, but it was in the direction of the shots, so it seemed like the shots were just moving him. And yeah, Matt Schnell loses via knockout where he might not have been out, but it made sense as a stoppage for Herb Dean because from what we all saw, it was guy gets clipped, falls forward after stumbling around a little bit, falls forward. Then the other guy's on top of him, lanes like 13 unanswered strikes. Then it gets called off. Like that's 13 unanswered strikes to the side of the head is it. You're gonna need to, and they weren't like little tippy tap shots. They were like full wind ups from Alessandro Costa. So I get this being stopped. Matt Schnell disagreed with it, but I get Alessandro Costa getting the knockout win here. And yeah, he just proved he was faster, stronger, and was able to clip Matt Schnell, which at this point it's gonna happen a lot with opponents of Matt Schnell. So Alessandro Costa kind of had to do that. And yeah, Matt Schnell gets TKO'd in the first round. A little bit of controversy, but nothing too important and nothing too crazy. Alessandro Costa clearly won this fight. Then moving up to the main card, Iwo Baranowski versus Junior Tafa. Iwo, man, this is a great performance from him. He literally did not absorb a strike from Junior Tafa this entire fight. I mean, it was only 1 minute and 25 seconds, which is his second longest ever. His debut was 1:30 against Ibo Aslan. This one was 1:25, and then his Austin Lane fight was like 30 seconds. But he did not absorb a strike in this fight. He landed low kicks to Junior Tafa that chewed up his leg, sat him down, and then Baranowski threw some ground and pound. The fight was called off. That's really what it was. Baranowski shot in for a takedown at one point, trying to get some of his grappling going. Junior Tafa was good enough to defend it, but yeah, his leg got chewed up. He took this on like relatively quick turnaround compared to when he had just fought Kevin Christian and got that win, where he did get his leg chewed up a little bit. So I'm guessing Baranowski saw that fight happened and went, okay, well, I'm just going to chew up his leg too. I kick harder than Kevin Christian probably does. And so he just slammed some low kicks down there, and it had Junior Tafa sit down and then just TKO'd him. It was a great job by Iwo Baranowski. This guy can definitely be a problem at some point in the future of this division, and I'm excited to see where he goes in this division because he can turn around relatively quickly from this. He had 1:25 where he literally did not eat a shot. Like, that's a crazy stat. 0 of 8 strikes landed. Like, that's crazy. His first debut fight, yeah, that was 1:30 fight that you need to take some time off from because you got dropped like 3 times, you had an all-out war, you ate tons of shots. This one, you were done in 1:25. You literally just had to kick the guy in the leg a couple times and it was over. So, great job by Iwo Baranowski. Nothing too much to talk about with this. Junior Tafa, glad he took the fight and went out there, but you can't really bet on a Tafa brother most of the times now, and Iwo Baranowski was a much more dangerous fighter than Kevin Christian. So Iwo Baranowski kicks out Junior Tafa and gets a performance of the night. So 1:25, doesn't eat a shot, and gets a $100,000 bonus. Great job, Iwo Baranowski. So excited for his next fight. Always excited for his fights. And yeah, then we get Bryce Mitchell versus Santiago Luna. Now, I got this one wrong, but I was kind of happy I got it wrong because regardless of what we think of Bryce Mitchell, he does make a division more interesting. He is an interesting character. He always goes out there and tries to perform. This was dominant grappling by him, but it was still somewhat entertaining where he was going for submissions or he was trying to advance to positions to land shots. And one thing with Bryce that I have to say, because I want more fighters to do this and actually do this in fights and register it in fights, when they're is like 10 seconds left on the clock, 15 seconds left on the clock, and you are in full guard or mount or side control, if you're on top and there's 15 seconds left, instead of just trying to hold out for those last 15 seconds, posture up and throw hard shots, because it doesn't matter if you fall off top. You've already been on top for however long. Land some shots, decisively get the round to you, and then go into the next round. You don't have to worry about getting caught into a submission. You don't have to worry about getting, like, falling out of position, because you're going to have to stand up anyway. Just land the hard shots. And that's what Bryce Mitchell was doing. If he was on top at any point in the end of these rounds, or in a point of advantage, he was going for a submission, or he was going to try and knock you out. I think it might have been at the end of the first round he was on top and he had got into full mount and there was like 30 seconds left, and he starts landing a little bit harder shots, and it was transitioning. He just gets there at like 25 seconds, and he then immediately starts trying to break up, get up, and at like 15 seconds, he's starting to throw elbows, starting to throw some shots, throw elbows, land stuff, and he did, and it swung that round even further in his favor. It made it less of a like, yeah, well, there was this happened, and yeah, this was Bryce's round too. Nope, this is Bryce's round. He got it. He clearly won this one. There's no really arguing it. And yeah, Bryce just had a great dominant performance against a young, powerful, clean striker. I got this one wrong because I figured that Bryce on the feet, being down at 135, was going to have trouble taking shots from somebody like Santiago Luna, who is a clean striker and is a good striker who has decent wrestling. I thought it was going to be better than it was, which he had good moments, but Bryce is just more experienced, was able to do more. Santiago at 21 years old fighting Bryce Mitchell, that's a big jump up. But yeah, Santiago looked like he needed to improve out there, but he has plenty of time to. He is 21. I just figured that he was going to be able to land harder shots, and Bryce being down at 135 against somebody that hits hard, because Tagir is not going to be somebody that hits you too hard. Luna would be, but it didn't matter. Bryce Mitchell just out-grappled him and finished him 10 seconds into the end of the fight. Like I said, there was 10 seconds left. A lot of fighters, if there's 10 seconds left in a fight that they clearly have won, they're not giving up top position. They'll just sit there. Bryce transitions, gets to an arm triangle, and finishes it with 10 seconds left. Great job by Bryce Mitchell. Great performance, and just looked really, really good out there. He landed a lot less, but he dominantly controlled the fight. Because, what was it? Yeah. Luna landed a lot more in that first round, but then when Bryce got on top, the harder shots were landed by Bryce, and when Bryce got on top, he then tried to cause damage. He tried to do stuff with it, not just sit there. Same thing with the next round, and then the third round, obviously, he got the submission, and Santiago Luna had good moments in it where he was transitioning, he would reverse it on Bryce, he would get to top on Bryce, but Bryce was just able to work through it. He was much more experienced and was able to get out there and win. So, great job by Bryce Mitchell. Looked great out there. Got was it the performance award that he get? No, that was Ewo and Edgar Shearez. Bryce just looked great out there. Excited to see what they do next with him. If they give him somebody in the rankings, if they give him Alexandre Topuria, if Topuria wins his next fight, if they give him Ethan Ewing, if Ethan Ewing wins his next fight against Farid Basharat, maybe they do. Who else could they give Bryce? Cheeto. Cheeto is a lower ranking guy, big name that Bryce Mitchell could go up against. That could be an interesting fight. Just stuff like that I could see them doing. Maybe they try and do him versus Marcus McGee. I don't know. But, yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with Bryce next, especially now that he's looking really good at bantamweight. And there's a lot further he could go. I'm just hoping the weight cut doesn't get too bad. Yeah, good job, Bryce Mitchell. Probably the standout moment of the night for me, that was seeing Bryce Mitchell submit Santiago Luna. And this is I don't think this is bad for Santiago. I think he'll be able to come back from this pretty strong and learn some pretty good lessons. So Then we move up to Freziam versus Tom Nolan. This one I was disappointed with because it felt like Freziam had moments in this fight where he could have done more, he could have won, but he second guessed himself. And when he would make a decision, sometimes he would make the wrong one. Tom Nolan would land some decent shots and then get good clinch game and good takedowns, and just Fress wouldn't capitalize when he needed to, and then would try and capitalize when he shouldn't. There was a time in the third round where it's like, okay, he's on full mount, he's able to do some stuff here, like he's able to land some hard shots, he's able to kind of swing this one into his favor, and then maybe he could have edged it an earlier round. And when he's trying to do that, then he falls off the back of Tom Nolan and ends up in bottom, and then that's pretty much where he stays. He gets up, but he's not able to really cause any damage that sways it too far in his favor. And yeah, Freziam was just a step or two behind Tom Nolan. Good job by Tom Nolan, upset everybody. I think it was the longest active win streak in the lightweight division. Was Freziam's like 7-fight win streak. Yeah, Frez, I was big on him, but Tom Nolan did a good job, executed a good game plan, and came up as an underdog. It was very, very impressive for him. He just outdid Freziam, made Freziam make mistakes, capitalized on those mistakes, and Ziam could not do the same to Tom Nolan. Yeah, not too much I can really say otherwise about that. Good job by Tom Nolan, and Freziam, I feel like he will be back. He is a dangerous, fun fighter, but good job by Tom Nolan. Then we move to Brendan Allen versus Edmen Shahbazyan. This was given fight of the night, and I wouldn't disagree. This was a pretty decent fight. Brendan Allen wins via unanimous decision. He should have probably finished this fight. Edmen is a tough striker, but Brendan Allen was number 4 in the world. Edmen was unranked. Just to put that even more into perspective, Brendan Allen was number 4 in the world. Edmen was completely unranked. And yeah, Brendan started getting better as the fight went on. He didn't really shoot any takedowns that were actually like close. Like all of them either got stuffed or he just kind of gave up on them. But he did good on the feet, which was pretty nice to see. He stayed crisp, stayed clean, would get clocked by a couple things, would get hit with some pretty decent jabs, some pretty decent right hands, but he was also landing harder. He would land great elbows when they broke away from clinches, would pull in Edmen and then just land great elbows, landed great ones while he was on the bet, like when he had his back up against the cage, he would then just throw a nasty elbow. And yeah, they just started landing really good on each other, but Brendan Allen was getting the better of it as the fight went on. Second and third round, he really clearly made it his, and yeah, I think did I give Edmen the first round? I might have, and then Brendan won the last two pretty clearly. And great job by Brendan Allen. The third round was definitely his biggest round. Just landed great elbows, bloodied up Edmen pretty bad, and yeah, Brendan Allen does what he needs to do. He needed to win this fight, otherwise it would have been really bad for him. 91 to 90 shots. Yeah. Good job, Brendan Allen. Went out there, put on what was probably the most entertaining fight of the night. And calls for a title shot or for the an Imavov rematch or for the winner of Dricus versus Usman or whatever. He said he just wants to fight again and try and get to the belt as soon as possible. He's number 4 in the world. This was a little bit of a detour, but it gives him good standing with the UFC, and I think he will be able to probably fight. Depends what they do. If they do try and do the Khamzat rematch with Strickland, I hope they don't. I hope Khamzat just moves up. But if they try and do that, then maybe Allen versus Imavov 2, or Allen versus Pfeiffer. If Brendan Allen is ready for the August card, then maybe they do Allen versus Pfeiffer, or maybe a little bit later on. If Dricus versus Usman is happening, maybe he could be the backup for that, and then you never know. So, yeah, Brendan Allen gets the win and beats Edmen Shahbazyan pretty clearly, and should have probably gotten a finish, but it is Brendan Allen, so not too expecting of that to happen in most of his fights. Then we have the main event, Belal, remember the name, Muhammad versus Gabriel Bonfim. When they were walking out, I knew I had picked this one wrong. I knew this one was completely dead wrong because Belal just seemed smaller, especially compared to Bonfim. And then looking at it, I was just like, Bonfim's better on the ground than Belal is. He's got better jiu-jitsu. Like, Belal might not be able to do much here. And then that's exactly what happened. For 5 rounds, Belal Muhammad stood on the feet, shot, how many takedowns did he shoot total? He shot 2 takedowns in this fight. I mean, just like crazy. This is Belal Muhammad. He shot 2 total takedowns in this fight, maybe 3. Didn't get close on any of them, and just got beaten up on the feet the rest of the time. He would throw punches like he was close to hitting them, and then would miss completely. His lead head kick was probably the best thing he had in this fight, and it wasn't really that damaging. Bonfim was happy to play this game the entire time, where he was able to just stand on the outside and like tap away at Belal. And yeah, he 128 to 86. Belal did not have really a moment of success in this fight. For 5 rounds straight, Belal Muhammad just got beaten by Bonfim, and it wasn't like it was a vicious beating. It was just like a systematically like, yeah, no, this is what we expect to happen. When somebody like Belal tries to stand on the feet, and Belal had way too much confidence in his hands for this fight. Bonfim was always going to beat him on the feet. The part where Belal could win this was if he could chain in the wrestling, get Bonfim tired. He was just unable to do that. He was moving back too much, and yeah, 2 takedowns attempted in a Belal Muhammad fight. Yeah, Bonfim was laughing in his face. While a former world champion is fighting you, you are able to laugh in his face because you were not. Bonfim was probably in more danger in his sparring matches than he was in this fight. Just simple way of looking at it. I mean, Belal was never going to cause damage on the feet with Bonfim. He was headhunting the entire time, only throwing really to the head, would throw body kicks that were nowhere near doing anything. And then Bonfim would just jab his head off, 1-2 him, calf kick him. And yeah, Bonfim just systematically beat him down. I wish if I could have changed my pick before they walked out, I would have. Because I was so sure when they were walking out that Bonfim was going to be able to do this. He seemed more in it. He seemed more dangerous. He seemed bigger. He was a lot bigger. He was stronger. I was like, there's no way Belal gets him down. There's no way Belal causes physical harm to this guy. And that's exactly what happened. Gabriel Bonfim has some interesting fights at the top of this division. Maybe Michael Morales, eventual Carlos Prates, JDM is who he called out. That would be an interesting one. And yeah, so JDM versus Carlos Prates, or JDM versus Gabriel Bonfim. I could see that. While we get Carlos Prates, Michael Morales, Islam versus Ian Gary. Could make sense. So, yeah. But I could also see them doing Bonfim versus Michael Morales and then giving Carlos Prates, letting him wait for the title shot. You never know. But yeah, good job by Bonfim. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this fight. It's a Belal Muhammad fight that he shot no takedowns. Just got beaten up on the feet the entire time. And yeah, big fall off for Belal Muhammad since winning the belt. And disappointing, but also I'm not upset to see it because Belal was very boring beforehand. He's still pretty boring now. Bonfim's more entertaining, but also I don't like him because he barely edged out that win against Wonderboy. That's just my personal bias. He's going to grow on me, but this was a very good performance by Bonfim. It was just also a very bad performance and game plan by Belal Muhammad. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Next up is the White House card. next week. So look forward to that. Excited to get to that one. Yeah, I'm gonna do a couple more videos this week trying to prepare for that, do my predictions. I'm gonna try and do a video for like maybe the weigh-ins or the press conference here on YouTube, and still be doing plenty of TikTok stuff. And if there's any updates on maybe if they push it back to Monday or whatever due to thunderstorms looking like they're going to happen, there's the high chance it rains now there. They said if it rains, they're going to still do the White House card, but they're going to, if it thunderstorms, they will have to cancel it. So hopefully it doesn't thunderstorm, or if it does, it thunderstorms beforehand and they can push it back to Monday. But yeah, UFC Fight Night, Muhammad versus Bonfim, was a good fight night in the Apex, but was pretty much just to hold us over till next week. So, yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good night, and bye.